Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Look who I found.
A ragamuffin on the street.
Or as my mother would say, look what the cat dragged in.
Yeah, right. Actually, I had a friend who had a cat, got a new cat, and the cat thought it was being terribly noble, and it would kill mice and fling them on the doorstep.
Yes, they do. They're
and my friend sort of had to disabuse the cat that this was
you
not a
can't
gift.
That is their nature.
Well, I know, exactly.
They're doing what they're meant to do.
Predatory.
I mean, I always feel sorry for them, right? If they come home, they're so proud. They're holding a dead mouse, a baby bird, and they're like, ho, 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 look at me. And they're greeted by screams.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, how confusing that must be if you're a
That's right. Yeah, you're doing what comes naturally.
Yeah, here I am. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing,
Yeah, well,
ain't I?
exactly.
I'm adding to the... I'm helping pay for my room and board. Aren't I supposed to? What the hell?
3 dead mice.
What, are you such an idiot? You don't know what I'm doing here?
Right.
So, we don't have soundproofing.
Oh, I see. Vocal interlopers.
So just to assuage any concerns of the audience, you are feeling
Yes,
well?
I'm feeling more energized than I have been in a long time.
Good.
But it's your numinous presence. It's just radiating into me.
I know I suck.
And I see you don't have that
What? Oh, that thing.
machine.
That
in
didn't
front of
last
you.
long. No,
Oh, I see.
obviously.
It looked so professional on
It looked professional,
screen.
but would have obscured any of our guests.
Oh, dear.
Or regulars like you. Oh, dear. Hi, everybody. So, I'm getting... What do you think about this plane?
Oh, God, who knows?
Well, but I mean, I thought they had it solved yesterday when the Chinese came out.
I didn't
they
hear
said,
that. What?
"Oh, see, you're not up to snuff." I mean, they keep.
I know. The last I heard was the Gulf of Malacca.
No, and then the
it's not?
Chinese. Well, it's back there. I think they don't know.
But what did the Chinese say?
Chinese, and everybody said the Chinese would not have released this if they had not really checked this out because they don't like being embarrassed and blah 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 blah. And the Chinese put out some radar that. Not radar. Yeah, maybe radar image. That shows 3 large pieces of debris sort of together and sort of, I guess, in the area where if the original flight, sort of where contact was. It really was very exciting yesterday, and they thought, this is it. This is the bit. And I wake up, and I assume that was it. I wake up this morning, and that's... forget that.
So now boats, and they couldn't find those trunks?
And now... now the Wall Street Journal is embroiled in some kind of a big to-do because their reporter says that Rolls-Royce...
What?
Rolls-Royce,
yes.
which manufactured the engines used on this airliner, says they were picking up information from the engines 4 hours after the plane lost contact, supposedly.
Well, one thing, I don't remember reading about. No one in this instance, and I thought what is always the ultimate is the black box.
Yes.
And doesn't the black box continue to beep and whatever even when the plane is blown to smithereens? Because it's in lead and concrete and whatever. That the black box always exists And that's the beeping thing that they find when they finally find it. No one's talking about the black box.
No, so. I know, but I don't know. Apparently, it doesn't. Whatever the
whatever.
Wherever those beeps are, they.
Rolls got them. Yeah.
I guess if they're way under the water or something, they can't.
That's right.
I don't. What do I know? I don't know.
But it's funny because, as they were saying early on, I mean, there's usually oil slick. I mean, all the things.
Yeah.
The effluvia of a crash.
But
it's so bizarre.
It is very bizarre. But I mean, everybody likes a good mystery.
Oh, of course.
And this is a good.
Well, it
mystery.
is. I mean, how do you have a plane that's huge with 270 some people on it? Just. And then there was the note, all this skullduggery of one of the pilots 2 years ago
let
was
two pretty little Australians.
Pupsies.
Well, apparently there's nothing wrong. They aren't as strenuous in their behaviors in the cockpit as we
except for Nookie.
As we terrified Americans are.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Well, I remember back in the day, weren't you ever?
You were asked into the cockpit as a comely young girl. I'm sure you were. No, I wasn't.
No, as a child.
As a child.
They used to often. I mean, I don't know often, but a lot of pilots would say, "Hey, little girl."
Yes, right, exactly.
Little girl comes.
They still do that before they take off. I've noticed people going up a little.
Really?
Yeah, before they take off, and then they lock it. But
Marcy wants to know, how do you spell the name of the person who said that quote you read? And the quote was, "The meaning of life is that it stops." Is that what that was the quote, Marcy? I mean, that sounds sort of like it. That was, not surprisingly, Franz Kafka. K-A-F.
Oh, that sounds worthy of.
K-A. K-A-F. K-A. Not exactly a guy you'd invite to your party to make,
And not exactly something you want emblazoned on the library facade.
Yes.
Nor a hospital, nor a church. I mean, just, aye.
Well, but it's reality. Why should we be?
Well, I don't know if I would say the meaning of life. I mean, I agree.
Okay. Yes.
It's finality.
The fact of life is that it stops, but the meaning of life might be something else. I think the meaning of life is what we all individually make of it.
Oh, you should be on The Talk, one of those shows on TV, one of those Christian shows.
That's not a Christian show.
No, I know, but I mean one of those shows. It was very funny. I have cable, and sometimes I just want to see what's on. I don't have a TV guide. The first 5 or 6 channels on cable are all
Christian
fat ladies with marabou things and jewels.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about Jesus and selling you holy water or something.
Isn't it odd? So you have to figure, if it's that many networks that do that,
there aren't many listeners.
There's money in that.
Oh, God, yes.
And they have audiences. My God.
Well, I remember when that hook-nosed nun, who has to be dead now, what was her name?
Angelica?
Mother Angelica. She had that hook nose. And she was constant. She was an old hag. Reminded me of
you're gonna upset some people because I once said something negative about her.
Oh, I thought she was horrible.
All hell broke loose.
Well, let them.
Okay.
The meaning of life is that Mother Angelica is dead. But she was constantly like, today we have this beautiful red or ruby rosary, which looks like the blood of Christ. Oh, give me a break, and $20 you have to send in.
When I saw her as I'm, clicking through the channels, I never stayed on her to even hear a sentence.
Oh, yeah.
So you torture yourself if you do that. I don't.
She was a doppelganger for Sister Mary Alcantara, who was my teacher in the 4th.
That terrorized you?
No, she was actually nice. But she was about half a paragraph ahead of us in the textbook. I mean, because she was born in Poland, so her English, and she'd mispronounce words and teach us, that's the way you pronounce this, boys and girls. And so now all the nun lawyers are going to write,
Yeah, What was I going to say?
I like modern nuns.
Oh, some modern nuns are the most amazing.
Yeah, I just doing
love them.
The work.
I love them. There's so many extraordinary women. Some of the best women I know. Hey, I don't suppose you follow the Pope's tweets, do you? Because
No,
I do. I get
no.
his. I
Oh,
get
you
his
do?
feed,
Oh,
yes.
yes, okay.
And
What's he done
this
now?
morning I was greeted by a very short tweet from the Pope, which really took me aback.
Stocks are up, bonds are down.
That really would have taken
What do you mean? A stock tip from the Pope.
a stock tips from the Pope.
Yeah, what did Pope Francis say to you?
Pray for me.
Oh, well, it's a good one.
Yeah. First of all, there's something so humble about it.
Yeah.
Pray for me.
Well, think about it. I mean, like
mean-
a pope or a president. I mean, the onus on you. You know, I was thinking about this. Did you follow at all that silly show that President Obama went on?
Oh, sure. I loved it. Between Two Ferns.
Yes, that's right.
You didn't think that was
Well, it was
well
funny,
done?
and he got a few good zingers.
Oh,
in.
he more than held his own.
I thought my favorite one was when the guy said to him, like, "What's it feel like being the last black president?" That was my favorite one. And there was a bit of a pause there. But
And what the president's comeback to that was, what does it feel like to have this be the last time you ever talk to a president or something,
exactly.
something like that? But you've got to be on your toes to be able to. And I read something. I thought, oh, maybe this was all scripted. And
but I'm sure he had some jokes
yeah,
prompted,
maybe a little, but
he's a
the
brilliant
guy, the
guy.
director of it, did an interview, and he said that he and Galifianakis, the host, when they agreed to do this, were really sure that when they got to the White House and they were setting up that they were just going to be besieged by.
You can't say this. You can't.
Do
whatever.
not go here. Do not say that. Please this. Please that. After all, he's still, and they said they got none of that. None of that.
Well,
and
you know
they
what-
were told They were told by the White House, we'll take your lead. So it was not. I mean, there was one thing toward the end where he pushes that button and the screen dropped away because obviously that had to be
Prepared.
a prepared shtick.
Well, the thing at first, when I first heard about it, before I heard saw the thing on the video, I thought, oh, this is sort of tacky. And then I thought, well, but president was doing it to get young people.
He was going where young people are.
And
It's not tacky.
No. But they said 3 million more people signed up for Obamacare.
Oh, really?
After the show. So there had to be some direct connection.
Oh, no, there was. Apparently the, I forgot what they said, the website volume went up like 40% immediately after. So, no, it was smart. He's,
Well, it's like
he's a salesman in chief here,
Well,
too.
yeah, of course. And I was thinking, from the Bible, sort of go out into the highways and the byways, and that's
right.
what's two dead ferns or whatever it's called.
Since when is it not dignified for a president to engage in humor?
Right, exactly.
And what is undignified about that? That's also blah, blah, blah. Okay, can I
That's
just...
what, Eleanor Roosevelt appeared at things, and that was shocking in 1935.
well, yeah,
she'd do populist things.
But generally, the people who
No,
are
they're
always
very
outraged
grand.
by that, are outraged by this stuff, are people who do not want the president or Eleanor Roosevelt to succeed in whatever their efforts at the time may be, right?
Right.
So, oh God, did I mention this the other day? I don't know. It's a little. I came across the funniest old video. Speaking of first ladies, of Bess Truman trying to christen. I actually think it was an
I've seen
airplane.
that,
Have you
yeah.
ever seen that?
And the bottom won't
It will
break.
not break. And she, first of all, and now the first lady will, and she gets up and she goes, bang, nothing. And then bang, nothing. And then she's like, she did everything but,
And then some
but attack.
military guy
And then
finally
a
does it.
general comes
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
no,
Oh,
and
no?
he tries.
Oh, he couldn't
and
either?
he can't break. It was like the equivalent of the birthday candle that won't
Oh,
go
right, won't
out.
blow out, right.
But I really don't think that is what it is. The funniest video. And of course, you think of Bess Truman as not particularly a funny person.
Yes,
I don't
exactly.
know. But she was like, you could tell everybody was just laughing. People were having so much fun. It was so funny. And,
Well, it humanizes it all. You know.
Indeedy.
I mean, because you think, like, my God, why do they christen planes or boats? I mean, it's such an old-fashioned thing. Like,
and not only that, you have a shiny new thing.
Yeah, you want
and
to
what do you
dent
do?
it.
You dent it?
With a bottle of Dom
Because,
Perignon.
it scratches
Oh,
it at
yeah.
least. I mean, so why would you do that?
Have you ever been clunked on the head by a bottle of champagne?
No, although opening champagne bottles always frightens me. I always
really?
sort of like repair to
Someone wrote
to a
Mother
corner.
Angelica.
A Mother Angelica fun fact. Oh, this is good. Before she was Mother Angelica, she was Rita Rizzo.
Oh, perfect. I see her as a Rita Rizzo.
No. This is. Oh, that is too fun. I wish we could share this video.
She looks like Captain Hook, doesn't she?
Right? Somebody's put a.
Well, unless she had some
patch
sort
over.
of...
Oh, you know what? She might have had eye surgery, and that could be a real picture.
And then her mouth, maybe it was some... What do you call that thing you get where your face is paralyzed?
I love stage names, and she's still terrorizing someone somewhere today at the age of 90. So, no, she was. Mother Mary Angelica was born Rita Antoinette Rizzo on April 20th, 1923.
Oh, Bell's palsy. See how her... I wonder if she may have Bell's palsy.
So this is not a doctored picture? Oh, God, that is so funny.
I wouldn't send that out with stills for new jobs.
It's sort of funny to hear her name was
Rita Rizzo.
Rita.
Isn't that
Rita's
the name?
such a,
Like Hachi-Chachi name.
Yeah.
Isn't Rizzo
Rita
the name
Rizzo.
of the girl in Greece? The bad girl?
I think Rizzo
Jess?
is the name.
Or Rizzo.
Rizzo is the name.
The bad girl in Greece?
Rizzo.
Who? Yeah, Rizzo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Maybe she was auditioning for Greece.
And she didn't get in, and she had a crisis of faith, and
Became a nun.
That's exactly it. I'm glad we fleshed her out a little bit. She's more human now.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Good old Rita.
Yeah, she's Rita.
I think she could be a
Lovely Rita.
croupier girl at the local what do you call it? Casino.
Can I say something?
Please
And
do.
this is coming totally out of nowhere.
Please do.
But I don't know why it's in my head because I didn't hear it in the last 24 hours. It's a commercial on television
Yes.
that literally sends me screaming from the room and or looking desperately for, and I want to know. And I'm a little reluctant to share which one this is because it
we'll
involves
know inside your head.
No. It involves two local people who do it, and they seem like very nice people.
Yes.
But I cannot tolerate. It's a father and a daughter.
Yeah.
You're not getting anywhere.
I've seen this.
It's for Windows. No? There's a father
this is where the
and a
child
daughter.
stands on the window or something?
No,
No.
there's this daughter with a voice that could cut glass. And we save you a lot of money. No, that one? And better yet, we save you a lot of money. And she goes on and on and on. And he, yeah, baby. Yes, and I'm thinking, stop it! Stop it! I just want it. Really? How do you do?
Real people are not good for such things. I mean, I would put in that category Edgar Schneider, Prabanik and Prabanik, Rob and Bob, whatever from...
Cochran?
No. That's Honorable Bob Cochran. No, the two lawyers, what are their names? They're from...
Steidel and Steinberg?
No. What is their name?
Oh, what's the other? Oh,
They're
one
they're from
where
Fox
I think this
Chapel.
guy
No,
can't even pronounce
Swickler.
his name right. Burger and Green.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
26. That's
What is it? Yeah.
999 26.
Was that me?
Not
Or
me.
maybe it's me.
It's Steidel and
I'm-
Steinberg,
Or-
and they're
or-
suing you.
I'm sorry.
They're suing you.
Or Mother Angelica.
Angelica
from
called.
the grave.
Yeah,
I'm
all right.
sorry.
She's not dead. That's what you keep wanting to kill her, and she's not dead. Oh, but I mean, my God.
No, I don't know why people think.
I am from Berkeley.
Yeah, right. Now,
mean,
would you
why
ever
do they
would you
think
ever
you
go
want-
to a lawyer that advertises on TV?
Speaking of that, have you seen the ad of the lawyer?
Which one?
Advertising. Dan. Thanks, Dan. There is.
so.
It's not on TV. If you haven't seen it on the internet, I don't know how many hits it has by now. It's well into the maybe even up to 100,000. It's a 31-year-old lawyer, Squirrel Hill,
Yes.
and he does this. Has to be almost 3 minutes long, and it's on the internet. And he just flat out, he's a criminal lawyer. He's looking for people who are criminals.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
Right. So he says, he says, I go visit the jails. He said, frankly, I'm visiting some of my friends. And this is so outrageous. It is so out there. He sort of makes fun of the law. The law is arbitrary,
So,
this,
like,
that,
if
blah,
you
blah,
rape
blah.
someone, if you killed someone, I'm your man.
And then at the very end, he actually goes like this to the camera, and he starts spinning a dreidel, and he says, by the way,
No,
did I mention I'm Jewish? And then this Star of David comes over the thing. It is the funniest thing in the universe.
But it's serious. I mean, this is a serious commercial. It's not a
Well,
spoof.
I can't. It's not a spoof. He is putting his. It is
His
a commercial
shingle out
for
there.
himself. It is attention getting. It's funny as hell. The guy's funny.
So if you're a Jewish murderer, you know where to go.
No, I think the Jewish line, and is because.
Well, there was always that adage of get a Jewish
lawyer. Exactly.
So maybe that's
what it is. The
to
Jewish
emphasize
line
that.
is telling
His credentials.
anybody, hey, I know I don't look it, and I know my name doesn't look it, but I'm a Jewish lawyer. So that's a plus, too, because, it's generally, the thought is Jewish lawyers
smart.
are better.
Yes, right.
They get you off. So there's all...
Don't you love stereotypes? I do. I remember there was some movie they say, stereotypes are that way because they're true.
Well, it's not that there's always some truth, maybe.
Well, more than some.
More than some, you think?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Maybe Carol's going to agree with me here. That girl's hair drives me nuts. It is black, then it's blonde, then it's curly, then it's straight. Very distracting.
This is
Well,
the
now
Streaky
that's
girl?
interesting because I've never noticed her hair. I can't get past her voice. And we'll save you. And then at the very end, they both say together, the father and daughter, and we'll save you a lot of money.
Oh, dear.
And I'm wondering, when people do these ads, themselves, do they think they done good?
Oh, I'm sure they do. Someone said, oh, you're such a good talker. You don't need a famous person like Lynn Cullen.
You know,
You just
I
go
want
up there
to.
and sell it's your heart and soul.
But I want to say that what you said about Edgar Snyder, I think his ads have been very effective. I don't think you can put him in the same category because he's become iconic, and it's not
I know, but then when he has
and
those
his business-
animations with the dog.
right,
I'm
right.
a dog lover too, but sometimes dogs bite.
Well, I think he's smart, actually.
Well.
Did you say there's a call?
No.
Oh, in my imagination. Okay, well.
She's hoping. Get us out of this commercial.
No,
Miasma.
no. We have to. No,
Oh,
we do
break,
have to.
okay.
Speaking of commercials, we have to treat you to some. We'll be right back.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
BurgBargains.com is your best bet for great deals in the Berg. Log on today for exclusive bargains from your favorite local restaurants like Blue Line Grill, Atria's, and Verde. Plus discounts on tickets to Frank Caliendo at the Improv. BurgBargains.com, Pittsburgh's best bargains. BurgBargains.com.
We will not be an easy target. We will never roll over and let pain plan our day. We will protect our bodies and fight back by moving. We will do our morning laps, walk our dogs around the block, pass up the elevator, and proudly take the stairs. Because arthritis can't beat us if we beat it first. In the fight against arthritis, you need a weapon. What's yours? To learn more, visit us at fightarthritispain.org. This message brought to you by the Arthritis Foundation and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Lynn Cullen live at pghcitypaper.com. Once again, here's Lynn Cullen.
He came up to me.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't know. Go away. Oh, dear. I'm looking for this thing that I sent to myself. I thought it was that. That's not what it is.
Oh, dear.
Oh, well. Okay, so...
So what else is in your pile of papers?
Well... Are you aware that there's this bit of a to-do? I mean, I guess it's just a media manufactured to-do of the moment.
Yes.
About the word bossy.
No, I haven't heard about this.
Well, I heard about Beyonce making a big deal about it.
Beyonce's made a big deal about it.
She wants to get rid of the word.
Okay, so she's part of this effort.
Boss.
Yes. Beyonce, a lot of big, powerful women, apparently, and I don't see Beyonce mentioned here, but I think it's, I think there's truth in this. I do think there's truth in it. Other women who agree with what, if you say Beyonce's saying this, I don't know if...
Who cares what Beyonce says?
Okay, well, but Hillary Clinton agrees, Sheryl Sandberg agrees,
That it's only used for
Sonia
women. Sotomayor.
Think about it.
It's true.
Think about it. Have you ever heard a man called bossy? What's a bossy man called? You know what he's called?
A tyrant.
No, he's called authoritative.
No, I don't know if that's necessary.
Okay.
I know what you're saying. I don't disagree with what you're saying.
We know what this is about, though, and it's true. There's
that's
all
fair.
these negative adjectives and nouns that have to do with women who are not in their place.
Yeah, right.
Who are.
It would be the equivalent of saying uppity about a black person.
So now that so many women are in positions of authority, apparently the word bossy is getting thrown around a lot, where you would not say the same about a member of your gender in a position of authority. But the minute a woman starts to say, you do that, blah, 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 this and that, they're bossy.
Well, the only thing I would say about that is, and because the calls will start coming in, no, I completely agree with it. Is it a bossy woman calling?
Hello, caller.
Yes, it's me again, Clarence.
Clarence, hi.
Hi, you're talking about one of my subjects that I was talking about before it became popular. Bossy.
Oh, bossy?
Bossy?
Yeah, it's calling women bossy. More for me, it's for little girls. It's that, I have two little nieces who are both, in quotes, bossy. And I said, stop calling them bossy. I said, somebody who's bossy becomes the boss. And if they stop calling them bossy, I'm like, let them be bossy. You know what I mean?
So you're right. It does start with girls, and they're saying that girls who were older sisters are often accused of being bossy because they did, superintend the siblings under them. But yeah, bossy is not something you would say to a boy. It is meant as a negative, right? It's not something you would say to a boy. As a matter of fact, boys defer to the bossy boys.
Personally, I defer to my bossy older sisters. Still do, as a matter of fact.
But so you hear that too. There's people who just want to, get rid of this damn word. I mean, obviously you can't get rid of a word, but you can, this kind of awareness that when you do say that about a girl or a woman, you are telling the child, something. You're telling her something that is harmful.
Well, the only thing I would say to this is I'm going to throw in a slightly opposite viewpoint, which is, and it's very difficult, I think, but I am old enough and I've worked for a number of women, and I think there are ways of being authoritative and a good, true boss, getting things done, being hard when you need to be, that are not bossy. And there are times, and this is very difficult for women, when they sometimes get in power and the need to swagger. And swagger is not about being authoritative. It's like trying to be manly. And I think there is a difference.
Well, but that's not a gender neutral kind of a thing. I mean, that is a gender neutral kind of a thing, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That there are plenty of men who become bosses who are just. I mean, I've worked for some
insufferable.
Well, they're often like the Napoleonic complex.
Yeah.
They can't
short men,
short nasty men who love humiliating people.
Yes, right.
I mean, I have worked for a number of them. So, but they're not called bossy.
For me, in my opinion, the word bossy is just replacing the word bitch.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
No, I don't think that's necessarily true. There's a variation there.
Well, but it's telling a woman you're out of line. You're out of line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've
agree with that.
and Clarence, you'll remember, because I've done this many times over the decades, I have pointed out that if you were to make a list of all the nouns that are negative nouns for women, you've got a list 20 miles long. Try doing the same for negative words specifically about a male.
I'm sure you're right.
And it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So language can help to suppress and to punish and to exactly. So this is I think it's a I think it's a good idea. And if you use the word bossy, if you find yourself about to say bossy to a little girl, bite your tongue.
Yeah, and that's it. It's like one of those things where the raising the hand in the school. Like little girls don't do it as much as little boys. They get called on. They're not, I don't know if I want to use the word aggressive, but as little boys, because they're told not to be that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't be bossy. Don't be forceful.
Well, there have been a number of studies recently, especially this guy was this very amazing educator in Harlem, Canada.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Canada. And he has really advocated, what do you call it?
Separate
schools, because they've found that for all sorts of reasons, emotionally and biologically, that to teach boys, you need to be much more aggressive and have the kids stand up and all that sort of gets them going. Whereas with girls, they're just raising the hands and being articulate or whatever. It's a very interesting demeanor. And as Clarence said, often the girls, especially when they reach puberty and want to, they're getting crushes on boys, they don't want to be seen as bossy. So they stifle themselves.
Well, let me quote a great author and linguist, she's a professor of linguistics at Georgetown, Deborah Tannen. I believe, she's the one who wrote the book "Men Are from Women Are from Venus," whatever it is. But that's a serious book about how we deal with each other linguistically and what that means. So here's what she says about bossy. Women at work are in a double bind. If they talk in ways that are associated with and expected of women, they seem to lack confidence or even competence. But if they talk in ways expected of someone in authority, they are seen as too aggressive. So, as a woman, you're sort of screwed no matter which way you go. You're either discounted or you're, disliked, I guess. That's a bitch, huh?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry to continue, but I like to blather on and on. As you're talking about that, I'm thinking the corner like black men are put into. You can't be too aggressive,
right?
But you can't be too demure. You know what I mean? You
That's
have to
right.
find that balance.
Well,
it's a conundrum of the Obama presidency, too.
Exactly.
That's right, and it's a conundrum of not being a white heterosexual male.
Okay, I'm done.
You sure as heck are, buddy boy.
All right.
Stop being bossy.
Bye. Thank you, Clarence, as always. So Tannen goes on to say that bossy, if you really start thinking about words like this, it's not just a word, it's a state of mind. Hello? Hello, caller?
How you doing?
Fine.
Hey, you're talking about something. Now, I've worked like 35 years plus for people. I work for myself now. But my big thing, now this might be off the beaten path, but my thing is to get rid of all the bosses. Maybe have very few bosses, because the old saying, too many chiefs and not enough Indians. And I've worked for these companies where they have all these bosses and micromanage everything, and they're getting paid big bucks, and the people that are actually doing the damn work, or the workers, they're getting, the difference between the paychecks is so big, it's unreal.
Yeah.
Just like if I owned a company, I wouldn't hire a CEO. I would be the CEO. There would be very few people as bosses. There'd be more workers or working supervisors. That's one of the biggest problems in this country, these companies going out because they hire too many people at the top. That's my opinion.
Okay, I won't disagree with you.
To it.
Okay, I don't disagree with you. Thank
okay,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, many people don't know, and there's all these programs, leadership, this, that, and the other, but people really don't know how to lead. I mean, it's not about being bossy in a neutral way. It's not about being inordinately aggressive or oh my God, they're calling in like.
Hi, caller.
Hi, Lynn. I was just thinking maybe people who are calling women bossy are referring to them as cows. Remember, Bossy the cow?
Oh, yeah, Bossy the cow. Well, maybe that's where... No, that's not where it comes from.
Well, if you go to Bossy the cow online, you'll see that there's a whole thing on there, and it includes Michelle Obama, about getting rid of that whole term.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a... Yeah. Well, anytime you can sort of make people aware of these sort of innate, they're not even aware that they're engaging in some kind of discriminatory behavior or
what's very
harmful
interesting
behavior.
There's a PNC? I'm trying to remember who the money is coming from. Maybe it's PNC, I can't remember. But they're trying to celebrate the 10th anniversary of that education initiative that Jim Rohr started called Growing Up Great or something like that. And they're plunking down something like $1 million+ And the focus of this, and they're drawing in all sorts of organizations, children's museums and cultural organizations, etc. And they're focusing upon language. With children. And I think maybe you should send this to them. Because, when children, like you say, little girls being bossy, then it's inculcated in them.
Yeah, back off.
Yeah, exactly.
Back off. From Mike in Philly, there is a name for bossy men at work, and I've worked for a few. They're called assholes. And Joe said that gay men call bossy men bitches.
Yeah, right.
So... see, now here's something you're just talking about. Here's the subject line of something, and this is going back to Jewish lawyers. Larry David, that's this very funny guy, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Seinfeld and all that. Larry David finds out his lawyer isn't Jewish. I don't know what that means, but maybe just somebody sent it to me. Yeah, and I bet that's funny. Okay, so I swear there was something else. Why was there something else?
We got off of Mother Angelica onto Bossy. Now she's bossy.
Yes, yeah, she's scary, Bossy. Mother Angelica.
Saint Bossy, yes.
Oh, dang it. I had this thought. If I don't start writing it down the minute I have it, if the conversation goes on, it's often the case.
You should try that. What is that?
Breadcrumbs.
Now? Oh,
breadcrumbs, and I can't.
No,
mental
what is it called?
Breadcrumbs.
Lumosity. Have you seen
do
this?
it.
You do it?
Do you do it?
I tried it once, and then when they started charging, I said,
no, they won't charge.
Yes,
if you
they
just,
do.
Well, no, I'm too cheap. There's a free app. There's a free app.
Oh, I see. Okay.
They just don't let you play many games.
Oh, I see. Okay. But it was interesting. There was something in the newspaper somewhere about this, and they were saying, you don't need lumosity. You become better at that game.
I brought this up yesterday.
Oh,
it was in the paper just the other day. Maybe you heard it here.
Yes,
right.
Of course you hear everything.
All you're doing is becoming.
Yeah, but if you read
but
a
that
lot,
in and of it,
or you do crossword puzzles,
or learn to play an instrument.
Yeah,
they said that
yeah.
because I do crossword puzzles like a lunatic. And
how far do you get in the times?
All the way
Saturday?
through. Oh yeah.
Oh my, you're brilliant.
I don't even start doing them. I sort of maybe you'll do Wednesdays because
she does Wednesdays.
But Thursday, Friday, Saturday is what I live for. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and people who say the Sunday times is the hardest don't know.
Saturday's a pisser.
Sunday times is nowhere near as hard as Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. Those three little ones. Those are sometimes, and I'm not saying I finish them every time. But I will stay. I am dogged, and I will never look something up. It is just something that I will never look something up. I just keep. And sometimes I'll start one, and I'll think, "Good God, I can't even start. I don't know, right? I can't put anything down.
And then
I don't know
it. One clue, and then you
get one, and then little by little, and then. I finished up last Saturday's. I think on Wednesday, I finally got, and I feel like.
Oh, you mean you worked on it for?
I'll work on. I mean, I'll keep it. I'll keep it by my bed.
Oh.
And I find that when
now it's diminished. I thought you sit down in an hour, you've finished one.
Oh no.
Oh, I see.
Well, I mean, I can do that for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Well, yeah, right, yes.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
As we humble people can.
Well, let me see. Now, Saturday, I was on an airplane, and to Philly. Mm-hmm. And I did finish that Saturday puzzle.
Wow, in an hour.
That wasn't about an hour.
Woo, that's pretty good.
Yeah, but I thought it was an easier. Every time I can do it well, I think it's an easier puzzle. But yeah, so I thought that meant if I kept doing that, that's good. And my sister said, "No, you're good. You're verbal. That part of your brain is. Sure. If you want to get your brain working, you should be doing Sudoku because your head does not work with numbers."
I don't even know how you do Sudoku.
I don't. Well, I think I do, but it's so impossible.
Yeah.
For me.
And it's funny because the people who love that don't touch crossword puzzles.
Well, that's I guess want people who are comfortable with numbers and people who are but some people can do both.
Mm-hmm. Well, have you done this one thing? One very, very smart friend of mine, I was shocked at this. She said, have you become a fan of Candy Crunch or something like Candy Crush?
Candy Crush.
It's this stupid thing.
I've heard about it.
And people play them, supposedly in New York. Every person on the subway is playing this. And you move these chiclets around and like you get all 13 in a row, all the pink ones or something. And I said, how can you waste your time doing that? And now there's a new variation where there are chickens and
see, I can't. Yeah, I'm usually not into that kind of stuff either. But I don't know. Here's Ray. I would politely wager that you are wrong about the number of pejorative words for women outnumbering those for men. I think you perceive the number as greater because they bother you more than blackguard or thug or villain or hooligan or scoundrel.
Which is true. Those you wouldn't call a woman a scoundrel. I mean, necessarily. But they all seem men words.
Well, if anyone wants to do this as a homework assignment.
Oh, I love his last line. And Beyonce has a lot of nerve considering her and her husband's lyrics. Touche, Ray. And happy St. Patrick's Day.
Word policing. Ray says word policing does not change attitudes. I'm gonna take you on that, Ray. I'm not necessarily. Yes, it might not change the attitude if you make people of goodwill, okay? Forget the jerks.
Yeah, right. No, that's true.
They're never receptive to any change, right? If you as a good person are told something like this, that, we use this word only on little girls and on women, and the cumulative effect of this is a negative for their growth and their own, speaking of attitudes, in their own attitudes about their own selves, about their own abilities. And so words can hurt, really hurt. Sticks and stones and words can never hurt me. Bullshit. Bullshit. So if a word is sort of grabbed by the scruff of a neck and pulled out of the dictionary, and I'm sure many could, and we focus on it for a second, like bossy, and realize that bossy's being used in a way that harms children, then don't tell me that it doesn't help to lessen the number of people who are using that word.
Well, but I would agree with Ray to the point that ultimately what we're saying, I think, is, not because someone calls Missy bossy, but changing the attitudes, the hearts and minds, so that the ideas of a strong woman through time, and it will change, bossy won't mean what it has meant before, because words do take on different meanings and changes. And, there are many words in the dictionary today, Oxford English of all places, that never would have been in a dictionary 50 years ago, let alone 100. So I think words do take on, negatives and positives, and it changes with time based upon mores and specific figures who those words sometimes are connected to.
As someone who loves words, I do not underestimate their power. And inasmuch as you can ask people to be aware of that power.
Yes, no, of
I think
course.
that
That's
is
yes.
a good fight to be fought and not to be denigrated. We got to get a break in here.
Okay.
I'll be back in a minute, because I'm bossy. I'm in charge here.
Go, girl.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen Live after this.
Pittsburgh City Paper's annual Dining Guide magazine is available now. Pick up one today for a look at the new hot restaurants in the Burgh, food trucks, and handcrafted cocktails. Plus Frank Caliendo, The Brew House, and Sean Colvin. Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania and on the web at pghcitypaper.com, your smartphone at citypapermobile.com, and at the iPhone App Store and Google Play.
All right, I've gone through all the tracks. Just move through the beats. Do your thing.
All right, everyone, let's hear it for West High's own Brooke Turner, a.k.a. DJ Hook.
Scratching at my first school dance takes confidence. So getting into college, I've got what it takes. So do you.
Visit knowhowtogo.org to learn what you should be doing right now to prepare for college. Start taking the steps at knowhowtogo.org. Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
Who would know that this bossy thing?
Yeah, right, exactly. Touched a nerve.
Hey, so take off. Okay, here's another email. We're reading it for the first time with you. My wife has been called bossy. It is definitely a gender issue for females, but in this regard, women are their own worst enemies. My wife and I were co-vice presidents of our daughter's school's parent PTO many years ago. My wife is a professional woman with a lot of management experience. She knows how to plan, delegate, and make decisions. When dealing with other mothers in PTO, she met resistance as they didn't want her telling them what to do. I could say the exact same thing and they would have no problem. I really do believe women, especially those who choose to stay home with children, do feel inadequate or like they're not reaching their potential. Essentially, it's their own feelings of inadequacy coming through. I also see this when my 5 older sisters and my mother interact. Me and my brother and dad get no pushback when we have an opinion or make a family decision. Well, I appreciate your ability to see this stuff at work, how things are different for women and for men and for girls and for boys. But I'm unclear why you said we're our own worst enemies. I didn't understand why that example was. Are you saying that other women? So you're saying the pushback to your wife being the boss came from other women, but when you would suggest the same thing, they accepted it. So
well, that's also, I'd be curious when he mentions older sisters, what the actual ages of these people are, because there are certainly generational.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
That's true. Someone else says, bitch in its most contemporary use is asexual and non-gender. That's true. Although, what is this thing that, Jess, you would know this, since you're a young person. When did bitch become biatch?
What?
Oh my God, nobody says that anymore.
They don't? Well, they said it on TV last night.
I feel like that was like an early 2000s sort of
Oh
thing.
dear, I'm dated.
Biatch?
Yes, that was something they said.
So it's already come and gone.
Well, someone said it on one of those talk shows last night.
Well, so they're out of it too.
But were they like in their 40s?
No, it was a young person.
No, she's.
I don't know who it was. Oh, okay.
It was a young person loser.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Are we getting back into California Valley Girl speak?
But that's, I mean, maybe they just say different things.
I say.
Yeah, people say different things. Remember, I tweeted something once which you thought.
Groovy. I love that word.
Okay, you say groovy. I tweeted.
That's
I tweeted something once, and you thought I was putting someone down,
that's right.
and I wasn't. So so it was a total miscommunication. Caller, hi.
Hello, this is Roger from Bellevue. I'm the one who wrote that email
Roger.
about women being their own worst enemies.
Yeah, what did you? Yeah, embellish.
Well, I think, and this is more of a society, a social issue than just a sex issue, because I think it's the way women are raised and how they, I think you're almost trained to follow men.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't agree with that, but I think that's,
I think you're right.
even after the sexual revolution, that's still going on.
Okay, stop.
And I think women really have a hard time, and I've seen this professionally and in the instance with the parent-teacher organization. Women have a problem taking orders from other women. It's really like, it's mind-boggling to me in this day and age, but it's really true. It's even with young women are doing that to each other.
Wow. So I don't see that dynamic because I'm sort of a single person operator here, and I hate myself. I hate myself to be a boss. I'm very uncomfortable giving orders. Very uncomfortable. So, and I'm very lucky that I found a way where I don't have to ever. But appreciate the point, and isn't that?
Well, can I amend that? You probably don't necessarily not like giving orders, but you don't like giving orders when people don't accept those orders, and then you have to reprimand or...
No. I never. No. I can't even employ people. Like have somebody clean my house or have somebody do
and say you missed a dirt ball.
I cannot. Whatever they're doing, that's just fine. Thank you very much. I'm just obsequious. I cannot be an authority figure, which was a real problem when I was a mother.
Because with children, obviously you have
because
to.
I really didn't want to be a person ordering anybody around.
It's very funny you
stand
say
it.
that. There's this show which I've never watched. I've just seen bits of it, called The Nanny, and this English woman.
Yeah.
And they had a clip the other night on one of these shows, and she was talking about how do you deal with difficult children, and they had this little Asian American boy, and he had to be 3 or something. And this nanny comes into the house where they're probably and they had him, and she was saying, "Now listen here, Linda." Blah, 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 blah. And he was talking to her like he was, And then
the cupcake?
Pardon me?
Are you talking about the cupcake?
What do you mean
Are you talking about the cupcake?
You wanted a cupcake, and he said,
"Oh, that's right, for dinner."
Honey.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yes, the cup. That's right. Yeah. And then she said, "All right, I listened to you. But this is the reason you can't have a cupcake for dinner. But this kid was
already
amazing.
bossing
You
her.
thought he was 20. He was pointing, and it was cute.
No, but I do think. Oh, Roger, I don't know if you're still there. Okay, but Roger, you made me think of what you said about girls essentially learning that they're to follow men and not to supersede men. And when women step out of the line, there's a lot of pushback. But I also wanted to say that as a talk show host, and one of the few females who've done that in this city, you'd be hard pressed to come up with more than you've got one hand and you're done.
Sure.
So I was surprised. I think the people who first employed me thought that if they had a woman doing talk, that they would attract more women.
I see.
As an audience, because talk is a very male-dominated
well, think of like
audience.
Fred Hansberg, late Fred Hansberg, like honking at you. And who wants to call someone up who's going to say, yeah?
Well, women don't call me.
That's true. Most of the callers are
Stop
men.
and
That's
think.
absolutely.
Well,
that's
thank you very
interesting.
much.
That's very interesting.
So what I have found through doing this job is that very few women are comfortable calling. Because women learn as girls not to speak up, not to have their opinion, and even if they do have an opinion, not to voice it. So that even though I'm a female doing the show, my demographic, but it's unclear.
I never thought about that. That's very interesting. Very interesting.
But it underscores what Roger was saying, and this is so inculcated.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And stopping one word like bossy is not going to alter it, but it's a little step in the right direction. And to poo-poo it, I don't think is helpful. Here's Ray back again. One thing that I try to teach my little ones as they grow up is there is a profound difference between hurt and harm. Words can hurt, but ideas will harm. Ideas precede actions. Dogs bark and they bite. They are not the same thing. Geez, why don't you go off somewhere to some mountaintop and be the philosopher you were meant to be?
Yeah, that's really quite profound.
I sure as hell hope you don't talk to your little ones like that. It's way too, I think for a little person, that's too much of a distinction.
I don't know.
Hurt and harm?
Hearing a dog bark, which can be, unless you know the dog, can be frightening, is different than being bitten by one.
See, but I'm still, you're not getting my point. That a word like bossy can hurt.
No, yeah.
Yes, but I'm saying it also harms. Are you saying it doesn't harm?
It eventually harms.
The cumulative effect.
Cumulative, yes.
Of all of this stuff coming at girls.
Yeah.
Is so harmful. It results in them talking like this. I'm not really somebody who knows what I'm talking about, and I'll show you that I don't by talking with everything like I'm not even sure myself.
Rising inflection.
This kind of stuff. Or, women aren't quite sure what to do. So when I was in the first wave of women who got into men's jobs, and we didn't know how to do it. And everything we did was wrong. So a lot of women decided the way to do it is to act like a man.
Yeah. Swagger,
and because that was the only model were men.
Right, exactly.
And so you do find a lot of women in positions of authority who do act exactly like men. But they are doing it against their female nature, I assure you.
Female nature. We're going to get a big argument on that one, dear.
All right, whatever. Anyway, I'm just saying that if you think that it's easy being a woman who dares to have a brain and not hide it, who dares to be authoritative and owns it, you got to be kidding me.
Well, it's getting easier. I think it's getting easier, but it's still difficult.
My understanding is that, yeah, sure, it's getting easier because women are finally, just by our successes,
definitely.
but there's still such.
Oh no! Well, there's all that
such resistance
stuff about what was it? Just fact about 15% less salary and what have you the other day.
Caller, go ahead.
Don't sell short the idea of intellect in this culture. It's not just women that are up against it. It's everybody. Anybody that tries to be thoughtful and runs up against it. Men run up against it just as much as women do. You talk to somebody, and because you're not dropping the F-bomb or using male bravado, they think you're gay, or they think you're a nerd, or something like that. So it's out there for all of us. And that the fact that there's an old Bob Marley song, "Who the Cap Fits, Let Them Wear It." I think that Beyonce maybe that cap may fit her a bit too well for her own taste. Sure, if okay, don't call her bossy, but the fact of the matter is that only certain people get called bossy. Not all women get called bossy who are in charge and who are in have to delegate duties. Only certain, and it's about how you handle yourself.
Oh, so are you saying? Wait. So are you saying the women who are called bossy are being called bossy because they're bossy?
Yeah, exactly. And men who are jagoffs get called jagoffs because they're jagoffs.
Wow.
Although you're right in saying that bossy is given to be used. It's used in the
overused
women
solely.
Solely, yeah. But there are terms for men that are used solely.
Well, I think
to describe men who are assholes or jackoffs or straw bosses or go as far back as you want, blackguards, just like Ray said.
How often do you hear anybody called a blackguard? For God's sake!
I try to use it as frequently as possible because I think it's a great word. All right, see ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, look, I'm not going to let a man get the last word here.
Because you're bossy.
Yeah. Because to discount the reality that women who are out here in this still man's world, especially those of us who are laboring in overwhelmingly male-dominated fields. Sure. I can't stand for that. No, this is and making it easier for young girls to reach their potential is something we should all be on board with. Caller, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, a female.
Yes.
Thank you. Did you just call so we could hear a woman's voice?
I was told when I was in elementary school that I was too smart to get a date.
Yep. And were you?
Well, nobody. Well, one person only from all through high school ever asked me out on a date from the school that I went to school in.
Well, you know what? That's the same for me. And at a high school reunion maybe about 10 years ago, one of the more popular boys came up to me and said, "Oh, I had such a crush on you." I said, well, why the hell didn't you ever ask me? Why didn't anybody ever ask me out? He said, "We were all scared of you." Now,
I had somebody say something like that to me, too. One of the guys in front of his wife said to me,
"Yes, scared of you,
why didn't I ever ask you out on a date?" And I said, "Well, why the hell didn't you?"
So they took, because we were both sort of maybe a little more out there than the other girls, it scared the boys. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. And at least it's nice when a guy, even 25, 30 years later, lets you know that. We were just
you know,
scared
I
of
feel
it.
like there've been a whole lot of things like that over the years that have really kind of crushed my self-esteem, and it's been kind of hard for me to, you know, get my business moving the way it should, because I'm not
programmed.
I've never really been completely sure of myself, even though I think I'm a pretty damn good person at what I do.
Right, and it's so true. I mean, the lack of confidence that
Well, can I just throw one other extra word in, though? And I completely agree with what you and this lady is saying. But I think we also have to remember that although they may have the upper hand, men are just as stuck in the roles
role
that
models
society has.
No, I agree with that too.
planned to them.
But that's why feminism was all about blowing the whole damn thing up.
Of course.
Men should be able to be more feminine, and women should be able to be more masculine, and stop all this stupidity.
Right, exactly.
So, any man who's not a feminist is keeping himself unliberated.
Yeah, exactly.
And on that brilliant note, I think we got to end the show. But thank you so much for calling.
Sure.
Call again. Thank you. We don't hear those treble registers.
What a nice way of putting it.
We're so, oh my God. It's a whole 4 minutes overtime.
Oh, dear.
And I know I have a parking ticket. And I know I'm going to have to go and fight it just because their stupid machinery doesn't work.
Well, now you be bossy when you go.
I will. And, you don't need to hear my travails. Great to have you back, Mr. Sokolowski.
Thank you, madame.
Okay,
Glad to be back.
Enjoy this day. Tomorrow, as scheduled, I hope, Chris Potter.
Good.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.